Go live. Live. All right, okay, we are live. Just wanted to check it's all running smoothly. All right. Cool, if someone can drop a something in the chat just to say you can hear me fine, see me okay, that would be great. Don't know why it took a little while to come through, but we are on. Yes. So, welcome everyone. This is Half-Life Alyx, the dev commentary part 2. And essentially just running through my favorite VR game because it's just so well done. But actually with the dev commentary on, the developer commentary, they actually talk about certain parts of the game, and I've been discovering new things, new features that they've put in that I've never seen, so picking up new things I've not seen before. Yeah, I just thought I'd live stream it because, yeah, cool. So thanks for joining, and let's dive right in. Okay. So now this is like the creepy underground bit, so I'm just gonna get warmed up. This is the juicy level. So we're in the sewers. I think we're only a couple of levels in, and yeah, it just looks incredible, and I highly recommend if anyone has ever, if you've ever got the chance to play proper PC VR, it's just incredible, absolutely incredible.
Alyx, the signal's back. Can you hear me? Are you okay?
Russell, I'm good. How's Dad?
They've got him on the train. He's on the move. You've got to find Fairview Junction before they get there.
I'm working on it.
So just little things like the details. You can see the bubbles underneath the sticker. It's just a normal map or a bump map, but it's just so cool, and the physics and the holding things, and just, yeah, it's just so well done. Absolutely incredible. Now, I remember this from my last playthrough, that these spiky guys, some of them are head crabs with like a protective shell on, which are harder to kill. So, yeah. Just sort the controls out. Oh, one thing I need to do before we move on any further is I'll be able to see your guys' chat and comments. With PCVR, you can pin your screen up to the side, which is really, really nice. Okay, cool. All right. And so I'm also running a Insta360 link, so wherever I move, the actual camera will follow me, which is really, really nice. So, yeah, when I go to pick things up from the floor or anything VR related, come on, where's it gone? Come back. Hello. Come on, camera. Come on. So if you see me do this, it's because I'm trying to get it to follow me around. There we go. Cool. So let's carry on. Let's see what we can learn from the dev commentary, and I can just appreciate this game again. Round 2. Let's turn the volume up a bit. Up the immersion. Yeah, it's just the physics when you hold things, that weight just feels incredible. So yeah, right. Let's carry on. So cool. I'll be checking the chat periodically. If you guys got any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Like this. 4. The attention to detail and quality is just absolutely incredible. So I think
That's weird.
Yeah, these are the head crab shells. Go on to here. See, immersive VR. I can hear head crabs. I only got 2 shots left in this magazine, but... Ugh. Oh, there he is. Hello, matey.
So anything happened when you cut out?
You're not gonna believe this, but I ran into a vortigaunt.
A vortigaunt? What was he doing down there?
Hiding. I think he escaped from the Combine.
What did he say?
You ever meet a vortigaunt? He said crazy vortigaunt.
Cool, so these are the headphones that the developer commentary has. So you just grab them, pop them on.
We spend time on every game design
go.
element thinking about how the player is expected to learn of its existence and understand its details. Some design elements are so important that the game experience will break if the player doesn't understand them, while others may just be fun diversions or rewards for exploring the game's systems. Any required element will require work on our part to teach the player. In Half-Life, we try to teach elements in ways that feel as natural as possible, entwined within the core flow of the game so that you don't feel like the game just stopped to teach you something. We don't always succeed, but the attempts usually lead us somewhere interesting. In this case, we need to teach the players about the armored headcrab. The key elements that we want them to understand are that the headcrab is invulnerable on the top, but has a weak spot on its belly. We would also like the player to learn that the headcrab exposes its weak spot right before it jumps, but this isn't required. The player can fall back to shooting the weak spot as the headcrab scrambles around after a leap.
So this is a regular head crab, for those who haven't seen or never seen any Half-Life games or anything, but these things jump on your face and then control you, and like clamp into your brain, and these things hold on to you, but yeah. So they're the things that jump on you. Let's have a listen to this one.
Teaching design elements of enemies is always tricky. Players have shown us for years that it's really hard to learn something new while under attack. We've also seen that invulnerability, in particular, is a difficult enemy feature to teach. If players are blasting away at an enemy, they are often not paying close attention to the impact feedback. If the enemy is vulnerable in some areas and not others, players may kill the enemy with a spray of gunfire, not realizing that some of their shots did nothing, while others hit critical weak spots. So when we approached the armored headcrab training, we knew we'd need to do significant work. The first step was to avoid placing the player under duress by containing the enemies inside this wire fence. Next, we placed headcrabs at eye level facing the player, exposing their bright, pulsing weak spot. If the player shoots one immediately, they are rewarded with a unique death effect where the headcrab explodes into chunks. This effect is designed to show the player that they did something special to kill this headcrab, as opposed to how they've been killing headcrabs up until now. There are a couple of other pieces in the setup here that are important. A second headcrab is placed right behind the lock the player must shoot to enter the cage, encouraging the player to notice the weak spot and try shooting it. 2 more headcrabs are loose in the cage, scripted to repeatedly attack invisible points on the wire fence. This ensures they are constantly demonstrating the way they expose their weak points before they leap, and this allows players to practice hitting the weak spot from behind the safety of the fence.
Just something I've got to show you guys. This one. I love the water effects.
With any section of natural entwined training, we've observed that there's rarely any one thing that succeeds in teaching all players, nor do 100% of players leave with the perfect understanding we'd like. If player understanding is absolutely critical, we have to build a more bulletproof gate that ensures the player demonstrates understanding before moving onwards. In fact, we do just that when the player acquires the shotgun in the next area. In the case of the armoured headcrab, however, playtesting showed that we could afford to let a few players through with less than perfect understanding. This section gave them enough of a chance to experiment that they got a sense of what was going on, and further encounters with armoured headcrabs solidified it. There was still a lot of iteration on the visual design of the headcrab to further drive home its armour and weak point, and we also added a custom response to shotgun fire. In that case, the armoured headcrab flips over and wriggles for a second, exposing its weak point. This was added to reduce the resource loss we saw happening in players who were still struggling to understand the armoured headcrab mechanics after they acquired the shotgun.
Okay. Some of the commentary gives spoilers in general, but oh, we've got some of this. This is resin. This is the currency of the game to upgrade your weapons. I don't think there's anything else under there. But the commentary does give a few spoilers just in general, but that's fine because I've already played it once. But just the designs of all the fungus and the sounds, and yeah, so well done. I'll keep saying it throughout, but it just looks absolutely incredible. And I remember this bit.
Oh,
One challenge we always face when giving a new weapon or tool to the player is ensuring that they collect it before moving on. In these cases, we try to establish some kind of gate that the player can only get past using the new item. This can be especially tricky in cases where we are giving the player a new tool that doesn't fundamentally change their capabilities, as in the case of the shotgun, where almost everything that can be done with the shotgun can also be done with the pistol. In contrast, the pistol gate, where the player had to acquire the pistol before being able to shoot the lock off of the fence back at Russell's lab, was simple to design and execute. For this shotgun gate, we not only needed to ensure that the player collected the shotgun, but also that they learned how to load it before proceeding. We playtested a number of approaches to teaching the reload mechanics during combat, and repeatedly found that it didn't work. When faced with learning a new, complex task under duress, players would retreat back to using their pistol, which was a known quantity to them.
See, I can hear things under there, and you can see the light, a little bit of light leak underneath, because that's where they come through. But what you got to do is catch the shotgun off of this guy before... yeah, and it all kicks off, so I'm going to go listen to this first.
Once the player has collected the shotgun, they are only halfway through the shotgun gate. Next, they need to learn how to reload it. To drive home the necessity for the player to learn how to use this new weapon, we added an incoming threat, using a variety of audio and visual effects to sell it. While our goal is to make the player feel like they have a limited amount of time, the time pressure is entirely fake, and everything proceeds based on the player's progress in loading the shotgun for the first time.
Oh.
Once the shotgun has been loaded, a short timer starts, after which zombies burst through the walls. If the player happens to look at the walls before that timer is up, we abort the timer and introduce the zombies. The combination of a timer and a look trigger is a common trick used in places where we'd like the player to see a neat visual moment, but we can't wait forever or the game simply won't progress. The breaking of the walls by the zombies is the final step in opening the shotgun gate. Having new enemies open the way forward when they enter the player's space is a fairly tried and true method, but it's never one we're particularly happy with. It's always a bit too convenient and lacks agency on the player's part. But in a setup like this, which contains a novel puzzle, a new weapon, and its associated mechanics, plus an ambush, we're already dealing with a lot of design complexity packed into a small space, and further additions would complicate the scenario even further.
Do you hear that?
yeah. Let's get this shotgun and get out of here.
Let's get the shotgun. How do I get the shotgun? I'm gonna wind him up. Completely forgotten. Wind him up. And use the other hands to get it off him. How do I do this? Come on then. Hop! Hop! Oh, I see. I use this. Very clever. Come on, through the spokes. There we go. Holds it. And then we grab the gun. There we go.
Got it.
Hurry up and load that thing. It's getting louder.
Right, so they're going to come through these walls. You ready now, guys? Bit of action.
Last one.
Come on, you gonna fall down the hole?
We did it.
Nice.
I love this gun.
Last 2 shells. Out of shells.
I love that when you reload it, you can just shake it and it snaps back. Little reminder, I'm going to pop you back there because you are a nice gun and you don't want to waste it all. And now we've got 3 rooms to go to. Let's have a little look. Those have got the more headphones, so let's go this way. Let's have a little look. What we got here? We got some barnacles. You don't want to walk into these guys, because when you do, they grab you. A bit of resin, that's all we're here for. Nice. Alright, let's have a look at this one over here. Oh, hello. A bit of resin, yes, let's go. It never gets old, the liquid physics in these things. And then the breakable physics there. So good. Just do a little bit of teleporting for speed. Oop. Alright, let's have a listen.
The visual design of the shotgun included a number of challenges. Shotguns in games are generally powerful, and we communicate that power with bulk. As a result, they're big and held in 2 hands. But our experiments with 2-handed VR weaponry didn't reach a level we were satisfied with. When holding a 2-handed object in real life, the object itself provides a physical connection between the 2 hands, and that constraint allows players to stop thinking about it consciously, in addition to providing physical feedback. In VR, without that connection or feedback, we found that players had to keep maintaining their own internal sense of how they were holding their 2-handed weapon, or they dripped their hands into positions that were hard for us to reconcile. As a result, our 2-handed weapons required players to play along more than we liked. Since one of our core goals with Half-Life Alyx was to allow players to fully immerse themselves by ceasing to think about what they were doing in real life, we decided to focus on single-handed weapons, including the shotgun.
Our initial instinct with the shotgun design was to use a regular real-world shotgun, but modified, with a sawn-off stock and barrel so it would seem less cumbersome when held with one hand. This approach always resulted in the handle being at the rear of the weapon, and we ran into the problem where the weapon always felt front-heavy. But obviously, the VR controller in your hand wouldn't reflect that, leading to a disconnect between what you were feeling and what you were seeing. Placing the handle more centrally and underneath the weapon helped avoid this disconnect. This implied centre of mass wasn't really maintained well as the weapon accrued upgrades throughout the game, but the first impression was the most critical. Since we were going with an odd form, we were keen to use common shotgun visual elements wherever we could to help with player recognition and to ground the design in some reality. One element we borrowed was a common shotgun tube magazine that stores shells horizontally in line with the barrel, and we were just able to fit the gameplay requirement of 6 shells without the overall length becoming unwieldy. You can see the effort we had to go for further shell capacity in the design of our autoloader upgrade. Our first reloading mechanic was based on the realistic insertion of 1 shell at a time. Playtesters found this to be overly tedious, although we did receive some positive comments that it made them feel like an action movie star. The simple addition of allowing players to insert 2 shells at a time solved this issue, allowing us to keep the good part of the design whilst losing the bad. We were keen to reinforce the whole action movie star thing, and experimented with some big gesture the player could do to finalise reloading. The inclusion of a pop-up mechanism allowed us to add an additional step to the reload that further separated it from our other weapons, yet had a satisfying flick of the wrist to complete the action.
I'm out.
Oh, this place is so big. Oh, hello. Right, health, if we need it. No, we're good.